entrepreneurial thinking and entrepreneurial skills. As you saw in the paperwork, our son Daniel is working with Doug Richards, the IT Dragon, and I will talk to you about how all of that happened. But first of all, I want to share the definition of what an entrepreneur is. Entrepreneurship is a combination of innovation and financial occurrence which leads to a value creation. I'll say that again. Entrepreneurship is a combination of innovation and financial occurrence which leads to a value creation. I heard a gentleman called Ken Brotherston present the other week on entrepreneurship, and he said entrepreneurs are either passionate or pissed off. And I really like that, because I think you'll agree with me, what that sums up is the energy that an entrepreneur has. You know, they almost have a new definition on the word resilience. They're very, very hard working. They're very, very focused. Whilst they might be part of a team, they are, in some ways, they can be quite insular within that team. They can sometimes be complicated, but they certainly don't work 9 to 5. They are so passionate about what they do. They absorb it, they sleep it, eat it, drink it, walk it, and just drive through with their ideas, and they don't take no easily. So how did Daniel get caught up with Doug? I don't know how many of you have heard of flocks. I must share this wonderful story. Saif very kindly invited me to join them for an evening at the end of the academic year. And I was talking, and the name Doug Richards came up, and one of the students said, "Oh, flocks! Well, you should have seen me." Talk about excited. I nearly jumped out my chair, and I couldn't believe that, that she actually knew about it. You know, somehow, when we're proud of our children, we also acknowledge that maybe, you know, we are hearing and responding more than other people, perhaps. And I was actually thrilled that it wasn't just me and a few others that knew about flocks. But what happened with Daniel? He was at university. I can tell you a month before leaving university, he had no idea about what he wanted to do. So if you don't know what you want to do, don't worry. The main thing is that you work hard and just know that things will come right and doors will open for you when that time is right and when you're out there searching. He went to work for a very good company in London. Excellent job, and then about 2 months after leaving university, he and 2 other university mates set up their own business called Bias Development Limited. You can find them on the web. They make iPhone apps, and these guys were awesome together. They'd worked quite closely in uni, and the name Bias Development, I believe it's the middle name. Bias is the middle name of one of the students, and Paul and I were actually quite green at one point because we thought, what an awesome business name, Bias Development. But anyway, one day Daniel was on the web and he came across this website, and at the time it was called FitFinder, and he straight away aligned it in his head with Facebook, just with the concept. I'm not saying they're the same things, but he just saw it as an awesome idea, and he just thought, my gosh, whoever's written this is onto something as big as Facebook. So, this is dreaming big, of course, you see. He contacted the guy, and the guy's name is Rich Martell. Rich Martell now is actually up for Entrepreneur of the Year, an award. I'm not sure exactly where this is, but I know his name has been put forward. He has recently run mobile news updates for Sky News, and you've got him walking along with obviously using his camera and reporting into the camera. I'm an incredibly creative guy, but can I tell you, Rich Martell is 22 years old, which for me, you know, Daniel's 24, and it's just incredible in a way that his immediate boss is 2 years younger than him, and yet, you know, they all left university, if you like, firing on all cylinders and being incredibly creative and doing so well. So Daniel contacted Rich, offered the app, Rich said yes, and Daniel wrote the app with bias development. And it wasn't until shortly before the app was being presented to the App Store that he then got to hear that Doug Richards was in the background. Now, you know what Chinese whispers are like. I'm going to tell you how Doug got into the frame, but because of the nature of human conversation and what have you, I can say it may not be accurate. Sorry, Doug, if you're listening. But Doug was in America, and he got to hear a lot of noise in the UK. And he went to have a look to see what the noise was and realised that it was all orientated around this website. And it was tied up with UCL. Other university students had caught up with this website. And the biggest thing for Doug, he said he couldn't believe the numbers. For us, it was nice to know that the App Store is regulated. So an app was made to support this website, but the regulations made sure that everything was kept in best practice, which was brilliant. But they then rebranded and called it Flocks to hit the US market. At this stage, Doug had invested, and they had investment of, I think, over 2 mil from America. And I believe they have secured quite a bit more investment since then. And they've just got back from Silicon Valley, and they went to Boston, and they went to New York, and they've had some very, very good conversations with some incredible people. One person was going to be the guy who owns 8% of Facebook. I don't think that actual face-to-face meeting happened, but I think they would like to see that on the cards later. They have MapChat, which is an app that came up behind the Flocks, and the latest one, which they were talking about in the States, is called Spotted, S-P-O-T-T-D. So I want to ask you 2 questions. And the first question is about a choice. And I'll explain more about it in a minute, but I'd like to say, please, when you answer, can you just keep the answer in your head? Don't share it with anybody else. There's a very good reason for saying this. Years ago, an experiment was done with 4-year-olds, and they were followed for the next 18 years of their life. And they used marshmallows. Well, you will appreciate that I thought if I stood here with marshmallows, it might not have the same impact. So I'm here with chocolate. And the question was asked, do you want 1 marshmallow now, or will you wait half an hour and I will give you 2 marshmallows? Some of the children waited, some of them didn't. So I'm going to ask you the question about chocolate and change it slightly. Do you want 1 bar of chocolate now, or will you wait till tomorrow when I will come and bring you 2 bars of chocolate? Now, I want you just in your heads to think which answer you would give. It was overwhelming, the evidence, after these children were followed after 18 years, that the children that waited had happier lives, they were more successful, and they were even more popular within their peer group. To wait, they had to cover their eyes, they were blocking their ears. But what they were demonstrating was the ability to say no to themselves. If your choice was to actually have the chocolate now, there are many reasons for that. One of the reasons possibly could be that you have experienced broken promises. You have no sense of assurance that I will definitely be back tomorrow. If you waited, then maybe you like chocolate. But maybe also you looked and thought, actually, if I wait, I can share some of this around. What I want to encourage you, the answer's no probably to that. So what it reflected to me was an investment mind. And I'd like to encourage with all of you to exercise an investment mind. And before I finish with thoughts, I think we all know the thing, is this half full or is this half empty? What do you see? I think we all know the right answer is that it's half full. But what I want to do is to encourage you all to see all of it, to see what is there, to see all the goodness that you have in your life, all your talents, your hidden talents, to see the confidence that you have. Revamp some stuff, maybe re-energize stuff, but value what you have. But also, I'd like you to see what's not in the upper part of the glass. That ties up with things that have gone, things that you've let go, maybe people you might need to move away from. But also, what is in there is what's yet to come. It's your entrepreneurial spirit of looking out round the corner to try and be creative, to be innovative, to be energized, to aim high, to dare to dream. But the key thing you need to know is you have to go and get it. It won't come to you. Go and get it. So to finish, just a few thoughts. People are not mind readers. Do ask for what you want, tell people how you feel, and ask for help. Never ever underestimate the power of words. Sticks and stones will break my bones. Words will never hurt me. What a load of rubbish. Yes, complete rubbish. Words are incredibly powerful. Be slow to take offence. We do not know what's happening in people's lives. The day my brother died, I went to pick my children up from school and my foot slipped on the clutch of the car and it jerked and a parent was walking by the car. And I sat there and I said, I'm sorry. And verbally, she had a go at me outside the car. So I then wound the window down. I could have said one or two things. I could have said my brother's died, or I could have said sorry. And I just sat and I said, I'm really sorry. And she wouldn't let up. You don't know what's going on in people's lives. Your motives in life are key to the results that you get and your core values. And lastly, silence can often be misinterpreted, but it can never, ever be misquoted. Thank you very much.